Good morning, children. Today we will study the last part of the lesson Medieval India, South India and the Cholas. In this lesson, we will study about the Chola rulers, Raja I, Rajendra I and the Chola administration. Okay, children, so let us begin. The Chola rulers. Chola rulers Vijayaraya established Chola rule in Tamil Nadu with Tanjore as his capital. During the middle of the 9th century, the Chola rulers were King Parantaka I, Raja I, Rajendra Chola and Rajadhiraj Chola. Raja I the Great, AD 985 to 1012. He is regarded as the greatest and the most illustrious ruler of the Chola dynasty. He ended internal renaissance in his dynasty, destroyed the naval fleet of the Cheras and subdued the Pandyas' revolt, whose territory he annexed in his own empire. He also occupied a large part of Travancore, Mysore and Coorg. He built the Raja Ishwara's temple of the Lord Shiva at Tanjore. He built a powerful naval fleet to conquer the island in the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea, as well as to maintain the trade relations with the East Indies. It is for all these achievements that he is known as a Raja the Great. Rajendra Chola, AD 1014 to 1044. Rajendra Chola was the son of Raja I and also a great ruler. He completed the work of building a strong empire which his father had begun. Rajendra Chola was not only a great conqueror but also a successful administrator and a patron of art and architecture. He built his new capital, which he named Gangai Konda, Cholapuram, and built several beautiful temples there. He also built 16 miles long embankment around an artificial lake near the new town. The Chola administration. The Chola administration provided a pattern for kingship that was followed by other rulers of South India. The system was highly efficient and organized, with the king as the pivot of administration and all authorities resting in his hands. Central government. The king discharged his responsibilities and duties with the advice and help of the Council of Ministers. A large number of officials operated the administrative system. Officials of the higher rank were known as a Perundanam and the others hiding a lower ranks were known as Shridanam. The officials were encouraged and rewarded with the titles and paid by giving them assignment in revenue-bearing lands. In fact, many of the offices had become the hereditary. The central government looked after matters like internal peace and order, external defense, cultural progress and promotion of general prosperity of the empire. Provincial government. The Chola kingdom was divided into the several provinces known as the mandalas. Each province was placed under the charge of viceroy, usually one belonging to the landed nobility or a prince of the royal family. The provinces were further subdivided into divisions or kotams. The other unit of administrations were district or nadus, group of villages or kurams and the villages of grama. All of these territorial divisions had their respective assemblies comprising notable persons and those respecting vocational and economical groupings. Local self-government. The exceptional efficiency of the village institutions was the most remarkable feature of the Chola administration. In many villages, the villagers themselves carried out the administration. The villagers had three types of village assemblies, namely the Ur, the Sabha and the Nagaram. The Ur was the common type of assembly of normal villages, where the land was held by people of all classes, who were therefore members of his local assembly. The Sabha was an exclusively Brahmin assembly of Brahmadeva villages, where all the land belonged to the Brahmins. The Nagaram was an assembly of merchants and belongs to the localities where traders and merchants were in dominant position. In these councils, the life and work of the village was discussed since it united the people in the village. It was considered a source of popular strength. The revenue. Land revenue was the main source of income. It was fixed at 1/3 of the produce. Merchant paid taxes on profit earned from trade. Most of the revenue was spent on administration, payment of salaries, maintenance of army and on public works. Military organization. To protect the extent of their vast empire, the Chola rulers kept a strong army which consisted of infantry, cavalry, elephants and a navy. The Cholas had built a strong naval fleet which helped them in making conquest in Malaya and other islands in the Indian Ocean and to carry on trade with Ceylon, East Indies, Persia, etc. Social life under the Cholas. The caste system greatly prevailed in southern India. Society was divided into different castes or varnashram. According to the Varnashrama, society was divided into 4 major divisions, namely Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya and Sudras. The practice of untouchability prevailed and the social status of the lower caste was pitiable, as they were not allowed to enter temples nor were they allowed to draw water from the common wells. Position of women in the society. Women were given a high status and freedom in the Chola society. They were appointed as officers in the Chola government. Chastity and the modesty were considered important. Women who were talented in music and dance performed during festivals. The women of the upper classes enjoyed the right to property. Sati system was commonly practiced among the women of the royal family. Okay children, so this was the last part of the lesson. I will advise you to go through the whole lesson from your textbook thoroughly to get a better understanding of the lesson. You are also required to do the question and answers in your history exercise copy, which will be checked later. Have a good day.